It's so good to see so many of you here. And if I look at my old original streams, I can see that Beverly and Alan were the first ones in, closely followed by Dwayne and Jim from Hawks Travels. Nice of you to join us. And then Tony was in. So, Lindsay, we're back.
We are back.
Dax is happy, I think.
Well, yeah, he's kind of got fed up waiting for us. And
yes, he has. He's gone to sleep because he was here all ready to go.
Ready to go,
and now he's a little upset, aren't you?
Oh.
But not to worry. Anyway, so we're back from our Oceania cruise. We did have a lovely time.
We did.
There were a few little niggles, but we don't want to talk about that now, do we?
No.
Let's talk about the positives. So what was brilliant about our cruise, Lynn?
Well, I think probably the biggest thing for us was the cabin.
Oh, the cabin was absolutely fantastic.
Which some of you, if you saw our live while we were actually on the ship, you would have had a fleeting look around there, a bit of tempting look around the cabin. And the bathroom, of course, in the cabin was just amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You could have a party in there.
You could. It was brilliant.
The stewards, of course, you have a steward and an assistant, don't you?
Yes.
And they were both very good, very amiable. Couldn't do enough for you. Not that we really asked them for an awful lot, but if you needed anything, they were always around. You always knew which hours they were doing, and so you could always find somebody if you needed any help.
And you always had that attention to detail. I can remember one day we were coming off the ship, and they were hoovering. They were actually hoovering the carpet that they had on the gangplank midway through the day.
Yeah, it's not just a case of walking down the gangplank. You actually get a carpet to walk on. And yes, they were hoovering it. It did make me chuckle.
Yeah, it was funny, but good. So, yeah, all well and good. But there were a few minor things. But if we go on and say hello to a few more people, I'm not going to be able to put the comments on the screen for the moment because because the technical problem we had earlier. But that's fine. So Tony Nightingale, he asked this question. Hi both, for 2 weeks no-fly cruise in November 2026. What might you suggest? We're doing Canaries this November and we're open to trying something other than P&O. Well, you're quite restricted that time of year, aren't you?
Yeah, you are a little bit.
Because a lot of the ships have all gone over to the Caribbean or rehome back to other parts of the world.
So there's always Cunard. We did a Cunard one down to the Med.
Yes, we did. That was early December, but there might be something. And surprisingly enough, the weather was actually quite good, wasn't it?
It was actually.
Because you don't think of it being that warm there, but it was okay. It was very pleasant anyway. And the other thing,
certainly not as muggy as it is here at the moment.
No, not as muggy as it is here now. Yeah. And the other thing that is an option is a Northern Lights cruise, which is very, very different. And they're usually around about 12 to 14 days. And you've got other options there that time of year. You could stay with P&O. We've done it on Aurora, but usually in March. You could go with Fred Olsen, which we really enjoy. Or you could do Cunard as well, because all three of them go out of the UK to do Northern Lights cruises that time. Bit of a sort of specialist thing. I think if you've never done it before, it's worth doing it once. You do need sort of a bit of extra clothing and things like that, and sometimes
it's a funny time of year though, because a lot of the time, if you go head north to do that, at that time of year they won't have the snow that we saw. So some of the trips might not be the same. The husky sleds may not be able to run on snow, so they would run on their wheels. So it is a bit different. So it's worthwhile looking at that sort of thing as well, really.
Yeah.
Depends what you want out of it. If you want to be warm, then don't go north.
If you want to be warm and you're going from the UK in November, you've just got to go south, and Canaries is good. You could pop out to the Azores, but most of those go Azores and then down to Canaries.
Yeah.
Or, yes, you can go south down into the Med, which we had a good time down there.
Spain, France, Portugal.
Yeah, it was good. So if I move on now, Anna, Mike, Wagner Millwood, good evening to you both. Nice to see you. And yes, Dax is here, as you saw earlier. Gil and Sandra, who we met before on Spoleto, wasn't it? First time, yeah. Nice to see you in here. No, is that stopped working there as well now? No, it hasn't. I thought it had for a minute. David, good evening. Nice of you to make it, David. David Webb and Jerry and Diane here. I hope you've recovered after your exciting weekend in Pembrokeshire. Looks like they had a busy time.
I'm pretty sure you had a good time down there.
Yeah. Bob and Holly here from San Diego. Hi, guys. Hope you're feeling better, Holly. We're all
better, all the much better for seeing
Dax, yes.
You say hello.
Just suffering with the heat a bit, aren't we? It's not where here we are telling someone in San Diego that we're suffering with the heat. Sandra saying hello. Tina, good evening, Tina. Nice of you to make it again. Bob has a question.
Ooh.
How did you find baristas, pastries, and the pool deck pizza?
Pool deck pizza. Okay. Shall I do baristas?
Yeah, you do baristas.
Baristas, of course, I was really looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Baristas have changed their coffee. It's not Illy coffee any longer. They've and at the admission of one of the members of staff, they've gone for a cheaper brand because the contract with Illy came to an end. Apparently, there's quite a lot of customers that are mentioning to Oceania that they don't like the coffee and please bring Illy back.
Mm-hmm.
As for the pastries, well, the usual ones that you get in the sort of chilled area, they were okay, but quite samey. So you kind of, if you went in there at lunchtime, it was always salmon and tuna and beef little rolls. Very, very little option apart from that. And then if you went to the pastry area,
which we were really looking forward to, weren't we?
Yeah. So the pastries were all the same.
The quality was good.
The quality was very good, but there's only so much you can eat of that sweet stuff.
And I prefer savoury, particularly at lunchtime if we were going in for a light bite. And the only savoury option they had there was actually a quiche, which was beautiful.
Yeah, really nice quiches.
But you don't want a quiche every day, maybe a little pasty or...
Yeah, there was no variation. And the sweet pastries were beautiful. You don't want the same thing every day, and it was essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
So you kind of think, you sort of ended up very quickly going up to the counter and going, oh,
all right.
Nothing new then.
So we didn't bother.
No.
Well, it's probably better for the waistline that way. Well, what was there were really, really good.
Yeah, it was, but it was
excellent
just
quality, but it got a bit samey, didn't it? Yes. Lionel, Florida, say good evening. Good evening to both of you. Nice to see you. Saying hello. Diane.
Oh, Diane.
Hello, Diane.
hello, Guy as well.
So Diane and Guy were actually on the same cruise as us on Oceania, and they had similar experiences, which we will come to in a little bit, won't we? Some things were brilliant, some things were not, and I think that's why the title on our thumbnail for this evening show, Inconsistent, came from, because
that's what it was.
That's what it was. Right, just moving on. Vicky's here. I miss Rose. Hi, Rose. Nice to see you, Rose. Here in here. Am I back up here?
Yes, you are.
Am I?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I can't see that. Yeah.
Because there's down, so you could go down a couple.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a different one. It is a different one. We're not there yet.
Yes, we are.
All right. So Davina is here. Video now working, yeah. And you think Jerry and Di still saying hello. Hi, Rose. Jerry and Diane. Hi, Tina. Coming through. Tony Nightingale. Looks like you've nodded off. Well, we hadn't nodded off, but we won't go on about that anymore. We're still working our way down so I can catch up to being live at last.
Dax is obviously wanting to change his bed around.
And Alicia Frozen. Oh, yeah, he's going. Right, so I think that was that. We can now come back to 7:07. And yes, we got back on the screen now. Yes. Holly, dear, it is. Yes, it is. Not understand that, do you? No. Anyway, Davina.
Yep.
Hi, Kendall Lindsay. So now working good. Yes, we are back. Yes, and so Diane and Guy were on. We spent a few evenings together, didn't we?
We did.
Short evenings. That's one of the issues. What we mean. Yeah. Florida and Lionel, well done. Jim and Dane's working now in the new stream. no need to apologise. Well, no,
Yeah.
I'm not apologising anymore. It happens. It's life, isn't it? What happens? Claire, all nice and close YouTube and reopen it. Yes, that's right. It was a different stream I had to set up. No idea. Carly, Andy and Carla, hi to you.
Oh.
And back.
Keith. She's gone, dear.
Keith, no, that's fair. Didn't have access to live chat before. No, we're all right. Right. And we have a question from Claire. Were breakfasts usually better than the final poached eggs?
Shall we say?
Well, I'll just so you know what we're talking about. I did put it here because it was such a memorable picture that Lindsay put up. And there it is. That's Lindsay's poached eggs on the final day.
And before anybody says anything, had we had the time, yes, I would have complained. No, I wouldn't have sent it back. I would have, at that stage, been asking for a chef to come to my table. Because it really had kind of got to that stage.
Yes. I mean, on that final day, one of the inconsistencies, on that final day, the restaurant was virtually empty. There were hardly anybody in there in the main dining room where we had breakfast too. They were pushing everyone to get out for 8 o'clock. We got in there about 7:10, I think, something like that, for breakfast. And they didn't take our order for 30 minutes. And then we had to wait another 15 minutes for that to be served. So
and by that time, they were actually calling our number and colour to get off.
Yeah.
So we kind of had to dash down the breakfast. And
you went hungry, didn't you?
I did.
But regards for the rest of the breakfast, now breakfast was variable. And this is the whole thing. Everything was variable. We had breakfast in the main dining room on 2 occasions.
Oh, yeah, possibly.
Yeah, the first time was very good, but very slow. So there were actually quite a number of days when, unlike unusual for us, we didn't actually have breakfast. I think we were eating later in the evening, weren't we? And so we were full up. So we didn't really want breakfast. We just wanted a cup of coffee and a cookie at breakfast. But we did have breakfast in Waves Grill, which was excellent.
Yeah,
that's like the poolside grill, but it's a bit more than that. That was excellent in there. And we also had breakfast in the buffet several times, didn't we? And that was mixed. So we just as one example of how it happened, we were in there. Normally, when you go in there, they ask you what you want to drink. We gave our order: orange juice, grapefruit juice, and 2 pots of English breakfast tea. And then normally you go and get your food, come back, your drinks are all there on the table for you. That's the way it usually works, isn't it? Yeah, lovely. So anyway, we came back and still no drinks. So we thought, oh dear. So anyway, so we ate our breakfast and still no drinks. And then eventually the waiter came over and said, I'm ever so sorry, we've got no English breakfast tea. We've only got afternoon tea. And we said, really? No English breakfast tea? That's a bit strange. And we thought, oh, well, we'll go with what they've got. So anyway, did that.
It was disgusting.
It was awful. Well, not to our liking.
It was disgusting.
I'm sure some people like it, but we didn't. So so I'll put that one back up, haven't I? Yeah, so that was that. And then after that, we still hadn't had our juices. So he then brought an apple juice and an orange juice for me.
In half-pint
tumblers, not the normal breakfast sort of glasses. So anyway, Lindsay was wrong, so sent him away again. And then he came back with a grapefruit juice in
a beer glass.
A big beer glass.
And it was near enough full.
It was near enough full. And the juices on board were fantastic.
Very good, yes, but not that good.
They were brilliant. So anyway, so we thought, oh, well, what the hell. Anyway, poor head waiter came along, tidying up next to us. Is everything all right? We said, well, actually, it's not. So we told him what had happened, and he said, we've got loads of English breakfast tea. Would you like me to get you a pot? When you pointed out a problem, they were always very keen to resolve it, weren't they? Largely, yeah. They were always keen to resolve it. So we said, no, we've got to go now because we were off on tour, weren't we? We didn't have time. And then you said to him about the fruit juice.
I did say to him that I really do like your grapefruit juice because it was very, very nice. But I don't really like it by the beer glass full. And he kind of looked down at the table and went, well, that shouldn't be. that shouldn't have happened. No, that can't happen. I said, well, it obviously has. Anyway, he went off to chastise and re-educate the waiter.
Yeah, because he did ask us which one it was.
We were able to point him out.
Anyway, we left. So what happened after that, we don't know, and it's none of our business.
No,
what happened after
definitely retraining needed there.
But yeah, so, and that was the sort of inconsistencies we were having on board. And we had the same in the evening in the buffet, didn't we?
We did. Because
it was a case of, can I get a drink? Oh, half an hour for a drink. And then you go somewhere else, like the Founders Bar, and it was absolutely fantastic. They couldn't do enough for you. The service were great. The people were wonderful.
And the drinks weren't too bad either, were they, Diane?
drinks were very good there. Until it came to the end of the night.
Yeah, they were very keen to pack up. That's another story.
Yeah, that's another story. We'll see if there are more questions there, and then we'll come to that in a minute, if there are. So Catherine's interested to hear about Oceania's. My friends just returned from South Pacific sailing with them. Well, we know our friends Peter and Christine were on Vista 5 weeks before us, and they've done 19 cruises on Oceania. And they said to us, you are going to love this experience because it's brilliant. It's Oceania at its best. So we were really, really looking forward to it, and some aspects didn't quite turn out like that, did they? But hey ho, I think it's
unfortunately the small issues mount up and it taints the whole experience to a certain extent.
It didn't help that they changed our arrival and departure times on the cruise. So we had overnights in 3 ports. They sent us an email at the end of June telling us that there was no longer an overnight in Warnemünde, which really upset a lot of people because several of them had booked overnight stays in Berlin to come back the next day. So that didn't work for them. Didn't affect us. We were having day and kill. Then we were off to Stockholm, weren't we? And we left 4 hours early. So the tour that we had booked on the second day in the afternoon was cancelled. But they didn't tell us that. They gave you a letter. They didn't tell you in advance. They sent you a letter when you arrived in the cabin saying, due to operational reasons, your tour's been cancelled, but don't worry, the same one is running the day before. So we said, fine. So we went down to excursion department and said, can we book this? Yes, certainly, sir. And they just booked us straight on the day before, and there was no problem. Then I realised that they charge us an extra $106 for the privilege of doing so, which I wasn't too happy about. So I went down and said, look, we've got this problem. You've charged us $259 each instead of $206, which we originally paid. And they said, that's because we haven't applied the discount. We said, what do you mean? Oh, he said, well, we won't apply the discount to the last day of the cruise, and then your onboard credit will be refunded. And I said, well, why can't you do it now? You cancelled the trip, not us. We didn't cancel it. Oh, no, he said, we can't do it. And we don't do it anyway. You'll have to speak to guest services. So we went over to guest services, and they said, oh, no, it's nothing to do with us. You'll have to speak to the shore excursions department. And
it's left and right hand.
Left and right hand, and it was just, and they did finally refund it on our final sea day about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which is when we went down to the shops and bought these shirts, didn't we?
Well, you bought that
one. I bought that one. You didn't buy that one.
No, I didn't buy that one.
So it all worked out all right in the end, but it was just...
Believe me, the ladies' wear in those shops isn't worth looking at.
Not for you.
I shouldn't think for many people.
No.
To be honest, there was no fashion involved in them.
No.
They were awful. But there you go.
And you had to be a stick insect for it to fit as well.
Thanks.
Unfortunately. Yeah. Shame. But, so, yeah, little things. And the lady in the shop wasn't exactly helpful. She didn't want a service. But we don't know why. And there seemed to be huge differences in the way people were being treated, weren't there? Yeah. And the attitude of the waiters. So, first night we ate in Toscana, which is the Italian specialty restaurant. And there was a table of 8 over there. And the sommelier had been to us, taken our order, hadn't he?
Yeah.
delivered our first glass of wine and then went over to the table, and he stayed with that table of 8 all night and did not move.
Yeah.
Didn't leave their side all night. So, half an hour in, we would have liked another glass of wine. And he was just stood over there, and no matter what you did, he wouldn't leave that table. So anyway, another waiter who wasn't even serving us came to the table and said, "Is everything all right?" And I said, "Well, I'd like a glass of wine, please." Anyway, his name was Paulo. Fantastic guy. Portuguese
come across
guy.
Paulo on an Oceania cruise. He's fantastic. Just don't upset him.
He's brilliant.
He was
absolutely
brilliant.
fantastic.
Absolutely brilliant.
So he went to get the wine and service. And then at that point, the sommelier rushed over and said, "What's going on? These are my customers." And I said, "Well, perhaps you ought to pay a bit more attention." And that happened on several occasions, didn't it? It seemed like, and we met Alan and Janet, didn't we?
Yeah.
Who we'd been on our previous Oceania cruise with, and they actually said if they could get off today,
Alan would have got off.
Alan would have got off because he was having such a bad experience. I wouldn't say ours was bad.
No, I wouldn't have said it was that bad. It was just the niggles got to us. Some of this we've already covered in the first live that we did when we were on board. So it's really, we need to sort of perhaps say that what happened later. Because it just kind of continued.
Yeah, it just continued, didn't it? Off and on. So,
see if there's
Andy
any
and
questions.
Cara, glad to see things got all working. David saying hi to Dax.
You can probably just see his tail here.
Yeah, he's down there. No, you can see a bit more than that, I think. Looking forward to hearing about a posh cruise. Yes, posh film.
Yeah, it was.
Well, it was posh.
Yes.
It was still special.
Yes.
The entertainment on board was better than we expected, wasn't it?
Production shows had vastly improved to the last ones we
Vastly
saw.
improved.
And that last one that we did see on the night, not the last night.
No, 2 nights before.
Absolutely amazing.
Yes, it was. Brilliant. I got a picture here.
We know that the performers said it was one of their favourites.
That was it.
And you could tell from their performances that they were thoroughly enjoying it. But I have to say that the girls that were being, the dancers that were being lifted up into the lighting gantry, well, I'm surprised it didn't singe their hair. They went up so high.
It was. I'm sorry for me anyway. But no, so shows, and Oceania is not known for its shows.
No.
But they were brilliant.
They were very good.
And the whole of the Ents team were excellent, fantastic.
Yeah. From Sammy right the way through her team.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. And if you got a chance to chat to them, and they did get a chance to chat to you at times, it was really nice to have those chats.
Yeah.
Sophie, of course, we'll never forget. I'm not sure if we ought to say why.
No, we can't. We can't say why.
But we do now know why she has a nickname on board.
Yes, we did. We did.
No, but I mean, we spoke to some of the dancers, and they were really nice chaps to speak to. They had
the guy
a bit more
from
time.
Ukraine.
Yeah. It was just really nice. It's nice that they run some of and they host some of the daytime events so that you can get to see their personalities, and if there aren't many people competing, which if it's Bago, they're right the way around the atrium. But if you get a chance to speak to them, they're very nice to chat to, and they were from all over the place. So there's English, Scots, Canadians, Ukrainians, Americans, all sorts of people that were on there.
Brilliant.
And a lot of those performers had been with the company for years.
Yeah, many years.
So it just
says a lot about the company as well, doesn't it?
They were saying that their conditions are some of the best in the business.
Yeah. So really good that was. Excellent. Rose is saying hi, Claire. Warren. Oh, hi, Warren.
Oh, hello, Warren.
You're on. Yeah, we're on now. Nice of you to join us. Andy Cara, what was our favourite meal on board Oceania? Shall I go first?
Yeah, go on.
Because you might say something different. So my favourite was red ginger. We had a fantastic... Red ginger's one of the speciality, and we had a fantastic night in there. There was another one that was absolutely brilliant as well, wasn't there? We had a fantastic meal in there. The pork belly I had for my main in there was just utterly delicious.
As you can tell.
Yes. So that's my pork belly. And the service in there was brilliant. just first class.
Yes.
Very special. I always think that specialty dining should make you feel special, and that did.
Yes. Yeah, we really enjoyed that night in there.
Mm.
I think that would probably be my top one.
Oh.
Closely followed by Polo Grill.
Polo Grill was really good.
Polo Grill, we had a fantastic seat by window. We were able to see part of the sail out. And yet again, the food up there was very, very good. My
steak was slightly overcooked, but it tasted great. And I think, you don't want to be sending things back if they taste good. Just the fact it was a bit more cooked than I liked, but it was brilliant. And the service was excellent up there as well. Really good.
Again, the servers were very nice, very pleasant, very, very happy to have a bit of chat with you, a bit of banter, but very, very professional. Glasses didn't stay empty long, did they?
No,
if you wanted drinks, they were coming around all the time.
It was good.
Ember, I was surprised. A lot of people don't like Ember, and in fact, it will be going.
It's been replaced.
It's been replaced by Jack.
It's been unpopular.
Yeah.
In some realms since they put it on the ship, and it's only been on Vista. They're removing it in the autumn, I think, and putting Jacques back on, which is what they've got on their other ships. And Jacques is on the new ship, Allure, which just launched a few weeks ago as well.
But actually, with the night we were in Ember, there was one waiter that was a little bit pushy.
Yeah. Harris, his name was.
Yeah, but the other one who we'd come across elsewhere, he was very good, and he actually stepped in because there was a tendency to rush your meal if you weren't careful, if you didn't. And once they started the service process, unless they knew in advance that you wanted a quarter of an hour between your starters and your entrees, because of the way that they fire it live, it was already in process. So he actually twigged what we wanted very quickly.
Yeah,
and
he was great.
He held back the service of ours a little bit.
And I must say, I had the ribeye steak in Ember, and it was the best piece of steak I had on the ship. It was. What did you have in there?
Can't remember.
Fish.
I can't remember hardly what I had tonight. But it's anything else.
It's a strange mix of menu in there, isn't it?
It's a bit strange.
And I think that's what the problem's been. It hasn't had a clear identity. But the food was good. The food was good. And my pudding in Polo Grill, that was very special as well. It looked like, you've seen it, because Lindsay put a picture up. It looked like an onion bulb, but it was actually baked Alaska, and it was a proper
baked Alaska.
You see so many of them, they just got the ice cream with a bit of sloppy meringue on top. This was proper baked Alaska with sponge, 2 different lots of ice cream, and then the meringue on top. That had set as well. And then with it, I had this fantastic sauce, cherry sauce, that was full of kirsch as well, I think it was. And it was really, really tasty and really... I'm not a cherry lover, but it was fantastic.
I didn't get a look on the cherries on that one.
I did rave about that one a bit, didn't I?
Just a bit.
It was good. And in colour saying hydros. Oh, Peter and Christine have made it. This is Peter and Christine, who were on there 5 weeks before us and had a fantastic time. Yes. Cheers, Peter. We have been talking lots since we've been back, haven't we? David, question. Which countries you've cruised to would you like to revisit for a holiday?
Oh, now, do you know, over the years, we've often said, we'd like to come back here for a land-based holiday. We've never done it.
No, well, that's because if they're abroad, you won't fly.
I think there's places now that you can't go to, that we've been fortunate enough to go to in the past. But also there's places like I like Venice.
Yes,
I do like Venice.
Got to pay tax to go there now.
Would I go back there? And is there more than enough for anyway?
You love Rome.
I love Rome. I do like Rome. And I like some of the places that we've stopped at in the States. I don't like New York.
No.
Halifax.
That's
really
Canada.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a different country.
I know, but Halifax and Boston, perhaps.
Boston's a different country. That's the States.
I said the States.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are the sort of places I'd like to go back to.
And for a simple place to visit that we always enjoy, Madeira.
Yeah.
We always have a good time in Madeira. I don't know what it is. We just feel very at home there and love it. And Norway? No?
I don't know that I need to go and do any land-based holidays there.
Well, you wouldn't mind playing with the Huskies again.
Oh, that's different. That's the Arctic Circle.
It's still Norway.
I wouldn't mind going to see Father Christmas, perhaps.
No, up until Lapland. You did spend 4 weeks in Finland, didn't you?
I did, but that was midsummer. Father Christmas was nowhere to be seen.
No, he was busy working, making his toys and things.
Really?
So, yeah, I want to go back to Italy, because we haven't been to Italy for a few years. But because of the speeds the cruises are now taking to get to the parts of Italy that I want to go to, because they're travelling at 16 knots instead of 22 knots, it's extending the length of the cruises beyond what suits our family circumstances at the moment. So we have to be a bit careful there.
Yeah, and whilst I like Rome, there are a lot of other places that we've been to that I wouldn't really want to stay any length of time.
No?
No.
Like?
Naples.
Naples, yeah. Okay.
Livorno.
What about Capri? Capri was beautiful.
Yes, it was lovely. So were the prices.
Yeah. What about Greece? Yeah, I like the Greek islands. You're not so keen. I love it down there. But Cyprus. Your mum loves Cyprus.
Yeah.
I know you wouldn't want to go to Egypt. But we've been there.
Rhodes.
Rhodes. Well, that's a Greek island.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know that.
But you'd like that.
I like Rhodes.
Yeah. And Corfu.
Yeah. Right.
So, yeah, there's
differences of opinion.
Differences of opinion. We obviously need to go on separate holidays. I
never said a word.
No. But, you know, we like being anywhere, don't we, really? It's always good when you're on a cruise. Bob says it's only 25C here in Southern California.
Oh, okay.
I think it's 29 here, isn't it? At the moment. I'll just check the thermometer over here.
It's going up to over 30 tomorrow.
It's 27 in the house, which is why it's a bit warm here. Yeah. Oh, around the world with Sally and Mark. Oh, Sally and Mark from York. Oh, hi, guys. Hello. Looking forward to meeting you in the not too distant future.
Yeah.
Aren't we? Yes. While we're talking about that, as a lot of you will know, we've got this group cruise next April on Borealis, and we've had a few more people book recently, haven't we? We're sort of pushing.
The numbers are over 30 now.
Yeah, pushing up towards mid-30s now, which is really, really
very
nice.
Exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. And the plans are afoot now, aren't they? Yes,
we started because it's getting close enough for us to start thinking about who, what, where, when, and how. So we started thinking about that seriously now. So keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah. So if any of you, I mean, obviously we've got a closed Facebook group for those people that are booked on the cruise, and most people are on there, or most people have got one of the couple or whatever on there. So obviously things will be going on there as and soon we get our plans sorted. We're waiting for some responses from
some of the plans we won't be able to do until a little bit closer to the time, because the information is not going to be available.
Yeah.
But what we can get planned in advance, we will.
Yeah.
But get excited about that already.
And if any of the rest of you would like to join us,
there's still places available on the ship.
There are still places available.
There
on
are
the
no
ship.
restrictions on numbers as far as our group is concerned.
No.
The only restriction is the number of people on the ship.
Yes.
And if the ship gets full, that's it.
That's it. Yeah. So
getting excited about that.
Yeah, getting excited. It's getting closer now. It was about 245 days to go. We've got a countdown timer on the website. So if you're interested, pop over to the website. Here we are. I'll just see if I can find it here. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, kengocruising.co.uk. Have a look on there. There's a link on the front page and see what you think. See if you're interested. Ted and Brenda are here. Hi, guys.
Oh,
hello. all the way from sunny USA.
Yeah.
It's nice to see you, and nice of you to say hello to everyone else as well. And Trudy's here.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Lindsay, and hello, Dax. Glad you've joined us. I'm sorry, but we'll have to catch up later in Sainsbury's.
She's in Salisbury.
Salisbury, it's all right.
Can you get your glasses sorted?
No, they're in the wrong place. At Salisbury are my sisters. So good evening. She might have been in Sainsbury.
Seriously. Salisbury's a lovely place to be.
Salisbury is a lovely place to be. Yeah.
And I'm sure that they have got a lovely Sainsbury's there.
They might have. They've got a good Tesco's. We've been. They've got a lovely little cafe in Tesco's.
They've got a good cafe there and some really nice. Is it the toasties, the cheese toasties?
Yes. So
how the other half lives.
Jerry and Diane said they had a fantastic time in Pembrokeshire.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised. And it's good to see you've come through it and survived. Because Lindsay didn't survive that well, did you?
No, not really.
No, not when we visited.
Yeah.
And Tina says, "Hi, Tina." A new name, I think, from our last night of Independence of the Seas.
Oh.
We've never been on Independence.
No.
We've never been on Royal Caribbean. We almost did 2 years ago, didn't we? It was a toss-up between Celebrity and Royal Caribbean, and we went the Celebrity way.
All right. Yeah.
So never say never. We ought to get on there one day.
Yes, we need to look at that some point.
Because a lot of people rave about it.
Bear in mind, we've had discussions today about how we're going to do what we want to do next year and what we're going to try and keep over until the following year. And then I put a spanner in the works and go, but I'd like to do this shit.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So Indy might have to stay on the back burner for a little while.
She's going back anyway, isn't she?
She is, yeah.
So we've got, we've got 2 gaps to fill next year. One in February and one in the summer. And, it's just difficult, isn't it? We're not quite sure what we're going to do yet. Yes. Glad to see we've unfrozen. So
could do it a bit more freezing here.
It's rather ironic, isn't it, that we were frozen when it's 27 degrees. But I know why it went wrong.
Why?
Because we had rain.
Oh, yeah. And the laptop couldn't cope.
No, we had a few spots of rain here earlier. I think it's the first rain we've had for months, really, isn't it? But it's all gone again now and evaporated. Not to worry. Innocence Road, what is Southern California, isn't it?
Yes.
Right down next to Mexico, almost. Yes, San Diego, that's where they are.
Phoenix.
Bob's already been there. Well, he would know. He knows better than I do, doesn't he? Question from Rose. On Queen Mary in 4 weeks' time, is there much entertainment in the evening? Yes. There is lots. And all over the place. Different things. So.
Yes, whichever rooms you go into, there will be a different genre of music playing.
Yeah.
There will be production shows. There will be entertainers. And of course, before you go to bed, you need to go into the nightclub G32. That'll keep you going until about 2:00 in the morning.
But trying to find it is not easy, Rose, because you have to go through.
Don't spoil the surprise.
No, it's not easy to find, is it? So you have entertainment venues on there. You've got the pub. They do quizzes, and they quite often have a duo or something like that in their Irish group or whatever.
Yeah, some of those have been really good.
Some of those have been good. You've got the chart room, haven't you?
Yeah.
That's where they have usually a jazz band in there, don't they?
Hence why we didn't spend much time there.
Then you've got the Corinthia Lounge, which is really nice, and they have...
That sometimes is absolutely rocking.
Yeah, it is. They'll have bands in there. They have quizzes in there. They create daytime quizzes in there as well. Rose is a quiz expert.
But this is evening.
Oh, evenings. All right. And then you've got the Queen's Room, where they have a lot of dancing. But sometimes it's nice and they have dancing hosts as well, if you fancy a dance, Rose. Unless you're travelling with friends, of course, maybe this time. But there's dance hosts in there, and they have a big band in there several nights as well.
Yeah, watch out for the nights that they have the big band, because that's really worth seeing.
Yeah.
Even if you're not joining in with the dancing, it's really good to sit and listen to. Very, very good.
Yeah, and then the nightclub where they have
from the Queen's Room.
Yeah, where they have the live bands.
Yeah.
And they have a DJ as well. Yeah. And it's 2 stories. So you can either sit up the top and just watch what's going on down below, having a quiet drink, or get involved and dance, whatever you want to do.
Likely.
So it can be quite lovely. There's a lot of stuff. The production shows that we've seen on Queen Mary didn't suit us that much, did we? But some of the guest entertainers were brilliant.
And the guest speakers during the day.
And it's in the day.
Yeah.
And the guest speakers in the day, very, very good. Yeah. So there's a lot going on Queen Mary, isn't there, in the evening? Sure, there's got to be something that you will enjoy.
Yes.
Keith says, it's very good on a 4-night cruise in June. Yeah, quite agree, Keith. Quite agree. Rose is saying thanks. Oh,
hello.
Hello, Mark and Elliot are here. Nice of you to join us.
See you.
Yeah. Bob saying hello to them. Everyone's saying hello. Phil's a senior moment. Assume. No, not Fahrenheit. No. Bob's Anglo-English, isn't he?
Yeah.
He speaks in both languages. Doesn't he?
Yeah, don't always get it right.
No, but he does speak in both languages. He's bilingual. And Diane is saying yes. She's probably referring to the cruise on Oceania. Very nice. Yes. They did shut the bars very early. And that was a problem that we had. We were chatting, weren't we?
Yeah. It wasn't as though we wanted to be out boozy.
No.
But when you're sat chatting to friends, you want to have a drink with the chat.
Yeah. And they shut the bar. So we went to the late night bar, got there, and they said you can only have beer or wine because we're not serving anything else. And we said,
and they were cleaning down.
So we said, that's all right, we'll go back to another bar. So we went back there, got back to Founders Bar where the staff were brilliant. And they said, the late night bar is Horizon and they will be open. She said, I'll give them a ring. So Evelyn picked up the phone and rang them and had some very strong words with them in a language that I'm not quite sure what it was. It certainly wasn't English. And then put the phone down. She said, I'm ever so sorry, Mrs. Stone, they are closed. And Diane was there with us. All 4 of us were there. And that was 12 o'clock maybe? 5 to 12 at night, you know. And yeah, so when you come out of the show at 9:30, at sort of 10:30, it's an hour and a half and it's right off to bed then.
Yeah, it was very noticeable on the nights that we were in port and staff were able to go off the ship for a short period of time.
Yeah.
And it was very noticeable that they really did want to close the bars quickly. And you did feel a bit rushed, didn't we, Diane?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was yes, another one of those moments, really.
So Mark and Sally talking about the group cruise again. Only 8 months away. Have you packed yet? No, we haven't packed yet. We've got a few other cruises to do before then. Have we started planning any group wine tasting? So we have plans for an alcohol evening, don't we? But we're just waiting for arrangements to come through with Fred. They do their wine tastings in a slightly different way on there. That can be quite yeah.
The Cruise Monkeys have done a couple on their most recent cruise on Borealis. And it was interesting to see what they've done. And they are introducing more wine tastings and pairings.
Yes.
They're also looking at the pairing that the Monkeys did. They're looking at doing that of an evening rather than during the day.
But that was very expensive.
But it was
£70 pounds each for that.
We're looking at we don't want to spoil the surprise. Actually, we have got something in mind that we have mentioned a couple of times.
Because we're hoping, if we can sort this out, that we will gift the experience to you. That's what we're hoping to do. But we're waiting for confirmation on a few bits and pieces and prices and things, aren't we?
It's actually 245 days, 5 hours and 8 minutes.
Okay, yes. So we have. And the other thing is that what we're planning is, because of the part of the country, of France that we're going to, we're looking at doing some potential wine tastings on some visits as well.
It's either that or when their tours come out, they're going to something's bound to involve wine.
Yes.
And it may be
better.
It's better, but it may be that we'll book our own individual tours from the ship or Viator or whatever, and let people know that this is the one we're doing. If you want to join us, please come and join us. So it's going to be a bit of a mixture of the two, really.
Yeah. I mean, you may or may not be aware that Fred Olsen don't usually announce their tours until about 10 to 12 weeks before the actual cruise, which is most unusual compared with other cruise lines.
It is a bit of a nightmare.
And they do seem to like to do things later rather than early, because we'd like to get everything, have a full timetable of events sorted now. I'd like to, and have all the boxes ticked. But they seem they're very open to suggestions, but they seem to, we'll do that nearer the time. We'll do that nearer the time. So we are going back on Borealis again next month, aren't we?
Yeah, we're doing a ship visit.
We've got a ship visit on it. And part of it's through Clear. And part of the reason we're doing it is because we want to talk to them face to face about some of these issues, because we're getting support and they seem really helpful. But it's, don't worry about that, we'll sort that out near the time. Well, I'd like to have it, I'd like to know 3 months in advance what was happening at what time on each day, and we put it round and tell everyone.
We know that things have got to be a little bit fluid, so we're not worried about that. But we do have some ideas as to kind of where we want to go with some of it. So we would like to, and we have actually specified some of it. So we just want to follow up on that, really.
Julie, question: when can you book specialty restaurants on Borealis and have?
Oh
no, I haven't heard Vasco's going in October.
No,
not at all. Oh,
that's completely new to us.
No, haven't heard that at all, Julie.
They are doing something out the back.
Yes, they are. They're putting a dining area out the back where the garden is, sort of. From
where it used to be a swimming pool out the back, but it's sort of like a garden area that was never really used that much. And apparently they're going to use it for casual dining. How that's going to work in areas where it's not terribly conducive to it, but I don't know.
I don't know.
But I hadn't heard anything about
that at all. Better add it to my list of things on my emails to them. So you do book specialty dining in quite a strange way on Fred Olsen. It's different to anything I've ever done. So you actually email them and say, I would like a table for two, or I would like to book 2 people and share a table with somebody else on this date at 7:30. They open up usually about 3 or 4 months in advance. But to be fair, we've never had an issue. We've always been out. If we wanted to, we've always been able to rebook while we're on board. You do get it slightly cheaper if you book in advance. And then they send you about 3 or 4 days later, and this is really quite strange, they send you an email back and say, yes, we've reserved it. And I usually reserve, we used to do both, don't we? Vasco and Colours and Tastes. And you'll get an email back from one person, and then the other one will come back 3 days later, and they've always confirmed it. You don't pay for it in advance, like you do with some cruise lines. So you have a booking, and then they charge you on your onboard account when you're on board. So if you have onboard credit, like you will on the group cruise, Julie, because everyone's got £100 onboard credit, you can actually pay for it out of that. Now, I believe since we were last on, the prices have gone up a bit. I think now they're £15 in advance and £20 if you book on board, which is still very, very reasonable. So it's a very strange way that I do it, and I've never experienced anything like it before, really. I think they take the bookings after the final payment's made, sort of a week or so after that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, they don't do it until then. So,
tracking call. Oh, trust you.
It's what?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Bob's trilingual. American, British and Spanish. No, your British isn't always right, dear.
Yeah, but it is
pronunciation
sometimes.
Isn't always good.
But neither's ours in American.
No, we're the ones that have got it right.
Oh, I can't say that. I'm thinking about trying Ocean, but not so sure now. Well, Diane was on there as well with that. Certainly, I still think the product is inherently very good. Don't you?
Yes.
I think that we just hit it at a bad time. We know that when we got to Copenhagen, a huge amount of staff went off the ship and came back on, and they seem to be a little bit...
Yes, but that's happening all the time.
Yeah.
With the amount of staff that they have on there.
Yes.
That's a regular occurrence.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what the problem was, but it was across more than just one department.
Yes, it was. Mainly food and beverages, though.
Mainly.
And
customer services and destination services.
The rest of it was fine.
Yeah.
Housekeeping and all that was fine. Excellent, brilliant.
Yeah.
As for entertainment as well. So, yeah, I mean, our intention when we went on was to buy a Future Cruise certificate, and we actually went down to Future Cruises in the first couple of days and picked one up. They changed the way it works slightly, but we were still going to buy one, which gives you a little bit of extra onboard credit and things like that. But we didn't in the end. We're not sure now. But that's just us. Peter and Christine, who were on here tonight, went on 5 weeks before, and they said it was the best one they'd ever done on Oceania.
So it's if you're able to talk to anybody else that has actually done Oceania,
yes,
it's worth getting their views as well.
Yeah.
Because our views of this particular cruise are wildly different to the first one we did 2 years ago.
And wildly different to a lot of people that were on our cruise.
Yes.
So, yeah. We can only speak what happened to us.
Yes.
But, yeah, I wouldn't put down the whole line because we had a bad experience. But there would have to be something very special to get us back on in a hurry, wouldn't there?
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Right, so Phil's saying very wise. Shell RS, good evening to you.
Ooh.
Which is your favourite Fred Olsen cruise ship?
We've only done 2 out of 3.
Yep.
I'm not sure that there's that much difference,
They're
really.
very, very similar. I would say the only major difference is Baletta has 2 pools and Borealis has 1. Other than that, they're so similar inside, you can almost forget which ship you're on. And we had dining differences on them, didn't we?
Yeah, that was a bit weird. So on Baletta we had a better time in Vasco than we did Colours and Taste.
Yes.
And on Borealis it was the other way around.
Yes.
And the only thing we can put it down to is the quality of the server that we happen to have.
Yes. But I will say that the main dining room and the buffet has been excellent and exemplary right the way through on both cruises.
And again, the cruise monkeys, I think, would probably say the same.
Yeah.
They certainly made good use of the food, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. So it says, sounds like a shell game, that refund chase, very disorganised.
It was disorganised.
It was disorganised, yeah.
It was left and right hand not knowing what they were doing. And they're not always that keen to sort it.
No, we know Dan, our travel agent Dan from Go Cruising Travel, he has an ongoing issue with Oceania from 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and apparently their customer services are not the best. But we put everything down to try and help them in our form that we did at the end of the cruise and in the one halfway through. So, you know, it was what it was. It wasn't the best, but it can be the best.
Yes. Well,
yes.
It can be a lot better than that.
It can be. Yeah. Julie, were excursions on Oceania more expensive than Princess? And what was the entertainment like? Right.
I think we've covered the entertainment.
The entertainment,
the production shows were better than we've seen on the previous cruise.
But I would say the overall standard of the production shows was still lower than Princess.
Oh, and
the average.
And lower than P&O too.
Yeah. The last one was exceptional.
But then you've got to understand that they haven't got the size of the theatres.
No.
So they're working in restricted areas. So that doesn't make life very easy for them. But they're still quite innovative with some of the things that they do.
Yeah. So the excursions on Oceania are very expensive. Mind you, so are Princess. However, I will say that when we booked on Oceania, they gave us, as part of the booking conditions, $1,000 to spend on excursions, which made them an awful lot more palatable, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
So that was part of the deal that Dan got for us. So I don't think they're offering that particular option at the moment. So they are expensive, but Princess excursions aren't cheap. But there are other options. Shore Excursions Company, Viator. We've used Viator several times now and had really good times with them. I think the only thing we would be careful if we don't book a ship one is if the return time is close to departure time. We would always do it sort of morning for an afternoon departure or something like that, so you're guaranteed to get back. That's all I would advise. But they are expensive. I mean, that one that we did, Stockholm, was a 4.5 hour trip, wasn't it? And it was $206 with the discount. So it's at 170, 180 quid for a 4.5 hour trip. They're not all that expensive, but they are expensive. But we find Princess Excursions expensive as well. I don't think they're that cheaply priced compared with P&O or Fred Olsen. Right. Oceania among the most expensive, like Celebrity. Yeah, they are expensive. 200, yes. Getting exciting, isn't it? The group cruise. It said lots of inconsistencies and various niggles. Yes, we did.
Yeah, it's such a shame.
It is a shame because we've been looking forward to it for 2 years.
It's Nick and Tracy.
Oh, Nick and Tracy. Hi there, guys. Nice of you to join us. Such insane but inconsistencies. Yeah, we still did have a good time.
We had a good time. It was the staff and the other people that we met that made it.
Yeah.
As much as anything else. But then I think that we tend to like chatting to people on cruises anyway, so it's something that we do quite frequently. But yeah, we did have a good time and a bit of a laugh with the people that we were with, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Yeah. So Holly says, the burning question, I'm going to ask you and then I'm going to answer it as well. Would you go on Oceania again?
At this moment in time, I'd say no. But that doesn't mean to say that 6 months down the line, my views may have been tempered a little bit. And that perhaps down the line, I might consider it. For me, the inconsistencies were just for the amount of money that we're paying for those cruises, I think was not acceptable for me. Not that I'm a perfectionist by any means, I just think...
No, you married me.
Well, but I just think for me it was just a couple of steps too far.
I would say yes, Holly, but not in a hurry. I think this has to sort of, similar to you really, it has to sort of go to the back of the mind of it. And it would have to be a good deal as well, because for what we paid for it, I remember Diane saying at one point, for what she paid, she could have bought a new small car for her cruise. And if you're spending that sort of money, you expect it to be right. And you don't expect everything to be perfect, but you would expect it to be 90% right.
And you would expect, if there was a problem, for it to be sorted properly.
Yes.
Because that is often the measure of a good cruise line.
Yeah.
It's not the fact that they make mistakes, it's the way that they put them right. And I don't believe that they were listening.
No, so I would definitely go again, but not in the near future. Because you've got to go back, because the first one was so good. Yeah. But it would have to be a good deal as well.
I think there's other ships I could go on.
Yeah, there are.
Wouldn't make me feel like that.
Yeah. I mean, if you compare it with the experience, our other most recent one on Princess, or what we've had on Fred knocks spots off of what we had this time on Oceania. Which is, sad really. Because it is a special company. Yeah. But, yeah. Saying hi. And in Cara, hi. Well, that all sounds very mixed service. Yes, it was mixed. Yeah, it was mixed. Some was brilliant and some wasn't. Has this experience put you off booking on it? I think we just answered that one. Yeah, it's cocktails.
Oh, goodness.
Now. Cocktails on Oceania? How were they, Lindsay?
They were very good.
They were very good, see?
And if you went into certain bars, they had specialities. I mean, they'd all do all sorts. Whether it was on the menu or not, they would make it. But in certain bars, they had specialities. and in the founders bars, which is where some people may have seen on Facebook, where we had the smoke and the bubbles
mirrors and the balls and all sorts.
So they do that sort of thing in there, which is great. Martinis obviously specialises in martinis, but they do. I mean, whichever bar it is, they'll make it whatever you want. Providing it's early enough in the evening.
Yeah, the bar service on board once you got served was excellent. They would make virtually anything for you, providing they were open. And they would. But sometimes the service was just lax. Horizon, Diane and Guy were up there for 25 minutes waiting to be served. And the room was reasonably empty. She went to the bar and said, "Excuse me, can I get a drink?" And the cheeky barman actually turned around to her and said something like, "Well, that's what we're here for then." And I think she said, "Well, you could have fooled me. Can you send a waiter over? We've been waiting for 25 minutes. And it was just that sort of attitude that was off, and you just don't, it shouldn't be like it.
You wouldn't expect it on any cruise line, to be fair.
Yeah.
Far less on them.
Yeah. Who do you think Oceania is for?
Okay, Ken's not going to like what I say here, but I think it's for the Americans.
I think it's slanted towards the American market more. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I really enjoy most of the Americans that I meet. Really enjoy.
People were brilliant.
They were quite interesting characters, some of them. But that doesn't bother me. It's the fact that there was a them and us, and it's actually something that we've written down. That there seemed to be a them and us with waiters in various places favouring certain tables over others, whether that was in the dining rooms or in the bars. And most of the ones that they were favouring didn't have a British accent.
No, and we don't know why. Maybe we just got a chip on our shoulder, but it certainly felt like that. We weren't the only ones to feel it.
You could see it quite easily. And whether people were... The Americans have a different way of tipping than us as well. And
we don't know it was anything to do with tips.
We don't know it was anything to do with tips. Or it may have been to do with the fact that the waiters perhaps knew that if they looked after them, they would get tipped heavily at the end.
Or it could be that they were previous customers and knew the people individually.
It could be.
We don't know.
But there's any number of possibilities. And there was definitely a issue there. And
that wasn't there on Riviera at all.
No.
There was nothing like that at all, which was, strange. So, Mark, Elliot, I think you'd like it. Don't you?
You think?
I think they would. It's just... If it's functioning properly, you would like it.
Yeah, if it's functioning properly, I think everybody on here would like it.
It's beautiful. Everything is just nice. The ships are beautiful. They're comfortable.
This is how good it is. They have a cushion plumper.
Yes.
Who plumps cushions.
Yes.
And dusts.
Yes.
I've never seen things dusted like it in my life. I could have brought him home. But he was very, very particular about his cushions.
So precise.
And actually, we did see a supervisor in Martinis one morning.
Yes.
And he was obviously going around doing an inspection. Yeah. And one of the cushions was out of place.
Yes. By about that much.
He photographed it.
Yeah.
And went away, and we went, ooh.
And that's how special it is. And that's how special it can be. It's just that some bits weren't like that for us. And we said when we came on Riviera that the whole ship gives you a big hug when you get on there, and it just makes you feel special. You really get looked after and made so welcome and feel comfortable. And that's like it is. And it was in places on this one, but not everywhere.
No.
And that's difference. Yes. So... Bob says he put Polo Grill slightly ahead of Princess Crown Grill, and when it comes to meat and wine, inspect restaurant, that's saying something. Yeah, Polo Grill is good. Polo Grill was very good, and after our last Crown Grill experience, it was certainly a lot better. But then again, we've eaten in Crown Grill 10 times, and we had an off one. Perhaps it's just us. Perhaps we're getting old and grumpy and miserable.
What do you mean?
Could be. Well, yeah. Bob saying hi. The Aegean is amazeballs. Give me Greece any day. Yeah, I like Greece. You've got to be careful what time of year, though, because it's too hot, isn't it, Lindsay, for you?
Yes.
Yeah. And Rhodes, yeah, you do like Rhodes.
Yeah, Rhodes is very
nice. Emma's here.
Oh,
hey,
Emma.
Nice of you to join us.
Oh, how's the Isle of Wight?
Yeah.
I hope it's raining there too.
Well, it's all had a bit. It's stuck together, hasn't it? Florida and Island, what do you think of all the demos against cruisers? Several ships have missed ports.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. I know that's kind of happening from time to time. I don't know if it's a regular occurrence at the moment.
Yeah, now and again. And I don't know why they pick on particular ships, because that's a bit bizarre. Anyway, I think a lot of it is aimed at the larger ships. The smaller ones don't seem to be such a trigger point for it. But people are entitled to protest. The strange thing is that certainly when we were in Norway and we were talking to some of the locals in the shops and things there, the people who are locals and running a business in these areas want the cruise ships to keep coming. They love them there.
It's their livelihood after all.
But other people don't want them. And it's the same. I used to live in the village sort of 5 miles from where I am now, and we used to have people moving into the village next to the church and then moaning that the church bells ring. And they were incomers that were causing the problems. And I think that might be some of the issues there.
It may be.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yes.
And it's very likely to be different issues in different areas too.
Yeah, and I think it's going to continue. I think it'll get bigger. As the ships get bigger, I think it's going to become more of a problem. You imagine if you've got 3 ships and each with 6,000 people on. That must be awful, especially if you're in somewhere small, like one of the Norwegian ports or somewhere like that, or even some of the small Spanish ports, or on an island in the Canaries. You know,
You'd be on the move, would you?
15,000 people suddenly arrive in your little town all in one go.
I have to say, we've got a friend that lives and works in Lanzarote, and he would go, "Yes, please, thank you very much. I'll take more."
I know, but he's trying to make a business out of tourism down there, isn't he? Tom, hi, we're in Greece from South Cambridge. Apologies for being late. Counting down to the on Borealis on the 21st. Wow, jealous, jealous indeed.
I have got the washing completely finished and ready to go on the next one, but I don't think we can fit that one in.
No, Andy, are laughing at me saying Sainsbury's. Sorry, I've got sweat dripping down my glasses. That's the problem. I think Carl might be one of 300 million Americans who own the Tesco's card. Yes, you do, don't you, Bob? Yes. And you've got all sorts of British. You've got a underground card as well, hasn't he? Bob has. Yeah.
Isn't it that, I don't know, he's got some sort of card.
He's got an underground card. It's only so we can get his hobnobs in Tesco's. That's all it is. Blizzard, looking at shoes. No Borealis in October now. Gail has it. Oh, great!
Lovely. Oh, that's good news.
Great.
Oh, I'm glad about that.
I'm glad about that. Well done, Gail. Glad to see you back alive and kicking. Tina, as you spend much of the time filming, how do you manage to just Well, we do, don't we? Of our time.
We do have you time, and when we've got people with us that we know, or friends with us that are coming on the same cruise, or people that we meet and sit and chat to, we forget to film.
Yeah, we do. Because we
start enjoying ourselves too much.
We lose ourselves into the cruise.
You're quite good at getting up in the morning and filming the stuff that's needed for ship tours.
Yeah.
The rest of it is, where we can and where we remember, is our story.
Yeah.
And what we do and what we get up to. And as much as anything else, it's a record for us, so that when, a few years down the line, not that many, when we're too old and infirm to do all this, we can at least look back on it. And we said that right from the start. It was one of the things that we thought of doing.
All vloggers do things in a different way. Some people do review style things. Some people talk about it and insert films. We try to do as much as we can live. It's quite difficult that way because of noise and surrounding and background noise and things like that. It gets quite frustrating for me when I'm editing at times. It gives me a challenge, but it's real then, and you can see what it's like.
we try to do that with our website with the port reviews that we do as well. In the fact that yes, we do a little bit of information about the port itself, perhaps a little bit about the history and the sort of things that you can do there, but also then we concentrate on what we've done. And more, if we've done something, especially if it's a trip from a company off the ship and done it privately, we do tend to put a little bit more detail in about how that worked and whether it worked, so that we can give that information to people, and then they can do with as they wish. But essentially, it's still our story of what we did,
and it's our holiday.
Yeah,
and we were talking earlier about choosing our next cruises.
Remember that when you're trying to get me out of bed in the morning, it's my holiday.
Yeah, well, I'm hungry usually. I've been up for 2 hours while you're having a lie-in. But hey, no. So it is what it is. And when we're doing, it's very easy. Like some of the stuff we do is when we're eating, and as long as you've got a table for two and you're not pointing the camera in other people's faces, which we try not to, which is why I get up early in the mornings to do a lot of the ship stuff. The fact that I'm pointing at Lindsay eats her first course, and I say, "What was that like?" And she says, "Oh, it was really nice," or "No, not so good," and that's it. And it's 30 seconds. And to be quite honest, when you're having a meal, you sat there for sort of 5 or 10 minutes between each course, so it doesn't really impose, does it?
No,
not really. As long as she's not trying to drink at the time, and I stop her drinking, then I get into trouble. I get them sometimes.
And the other thing we do is kind of split it so that Ken's the one that does most of the videoing.
Yeah.
And I'm the one that, in general, does the stills.
Yes. Yeah. You take nearly all the photos.
Because it is easier that way. Neither of us are switching to and from.
And also, if I miss things or press the wrong button, I've got some backup as well, which is really useful. Mm-hmm. And sometimes sometimes your pictures are more useful than mine because I can't use the video because of the noise or whatever's going on, or it doesn't focus properly when you're filming. So yeah,
it works. Because
it works.
One way or the other.
And if we didn't enjoy it or we weren't having it, we wouldn't do it.
No,
would we?
No,
we don't need to. It's not as if we're.
It's a hobby.
Making a living. It's a hobby. It's a
full-time hobby.
No, it's a hobby. It is a hobby, and that's what it is to us. We're retired people who do this for a hobby. Catherine Elaine, just got in. Hope everyone's well. Catch up from start. Oh, thank you very much, Julie. So on Travel Vlog, Jamie, he's been on board, has been told it's going in for refit. It is going in for refit. The end of this year. Definitely. So she'll be all nice and spick and span when we get on next year. Not that she wasn't already.
Then we can have fun, huh?
Yeah, we certainly will. Vasco is going. Sally,
no, it's a question mark. Somebody asked.
Oh, I see.
Responding to.
Sally, it's one of our favourites.
Yeah, I actually prefer colours and tastes, but then that's because I'm not overly keen on Indian food. But I must admit, we haven't heard that. I think that we'd have heard if...
I will be on the phone to them tomorrow and find out. So watch out on our Facebook page, because we'll put something up there if we get a confirmation or denial.
Yes.
I will ring them tomorrow and find out. Yes. Oh, yes. So, yeah, you're dead right. So... Oh, where was it? 2024 June. Holly and Lindsay recorded this video, and this is the link that Bob's put in there, and it's a great, funny little thing of English and American. So Lindsay was trying to speak American, and Holly was speaking English, and it's just a bit of fun. We did it on board Aurora, didn't we? If you want to have a look at it, it was fun.
It was one of those things
fun to do.
That started off at dinner one night.
Yeah, hot pot. Yes.
And it just, because it was a laugh, and we realised how different the language is.
Yeah.
We kind of knew it anyway, but it's when something happens and it brings it to the fore of your mind.
And Kyle have seen that. They said it was funny.
Yeah, we enjoyed filming that, didn't we, Holly?
It's not raining on the Isle of Wight.
Oh, that's no good.
And David says good evening, but Skiathos is my favourite Greek island. It's beautiful. A lot of the Greek islands are really beautiful, and I quite like Greek food as well. Yeah. And we have protesters waiting us for in Amsterdam on Piero Venture. Yeah, barriers put up so we couldn't disembark easily without being bothered. Yeah. And let's face it, Ventura's not a huge ship, which I guess she's classed as mid-sized.
There's a lot of ships that have problems in the Amsterdam area.
Yeah. I remember that Virgin had a boycott, didn't they?
Yeah.
On one, I think Mark and Elliot were on there. Yeah. Also permits passengers to be able to disembark. Oh, really?
Oh.
Well, I know that they're on about they've got a tourist tax in
Santorini?
Yeah, and Venice have now, but that's for land tourists as well. So, yes.
Interesting times.
Oh, Rose says, website says Vasco is going.
Oh, my word.
Oh, no. Look what they're putting in its place. Jamie was told Vasco's going in the refit.
Oh, well, we'll still see what we can find out.
Oh, well, yeah.
If we find out anything about what's going in its place, we'll let you know.
We will let you know.
Wow. Oh, that's a huge... Because was it that popular last time we were on?
Well, yeah, it was.
There was only two of us up there the night we went up there.
There was another couple behind us. But, that's... Well,
it'll be interesting to see what they put in place. If anything.
Yeah. Where are you, Rose? Because it's lovely here in Southend. So Rose is saying it's pouring with rain in Essex.
Wow.
Oh.
Ilford.
Oh, we're having a tour around the country now. Must be on its way down here then. Yeah, it's on its way. Anyway, Liz, we've gone over our time by a long way.
Gosh, where did that go?
But then we had a false start, didn't we?
Yes, we had a false start. There you go.
So back to you organising things.
Organising things.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So we have reminded people about the group cruise.
Yes.
And where they can get information about that.
Yep.
That's on the website.
Yes.
And the next newsletter, although I haven't actually started it yet, I'm hoping to get that out by the end of the week. So
yes.
I should be beavering away on that.
Mm.
Our next live, we're going to be back to our usual first Monday in the month slot.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be Monday the 1st of September.
Yes.
Now, we are hoping that we're going to have some special guests with us.
Yes.
It does depend on all this technology working.
Yeah, should do.
After tonight, I'm not concerned in any way, shape or form because you'll cope with everything. But yes, watch out. We will be publicising that near the time. Special guests.
Special guests, and we will also be noticing where our next cruise is.
Yes.
And what ship we're on, won't we?
Yes.
Yes, because we haven't told people that yet.
No, we haven't, have we?
No. So that's it. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. I see some of you are leaving already because you don't want to hear this rubbish. But it's been great joining us. Stack says bye-bye as well.
Wake up, mate.
And, I think we'll go back on Oceania at some point, but not at the moment. Anyway, ta-ta for now.
Bye. See you
and
next
thanks
month.
for joining us.
Why not pop over to our website, kengoescruising.co.uk. There you can find out a little more about us, check out our reviews on ships we've cruised on, and some of the ports of call we've enjoyed to date. We also have a small online shop for you to browse that includes our very own delist cruising ducks. If you'd like to contact us about anything, just go to our Contact Us page.